Well, this build is going to be quite interesting. As you can see, there's a transformer here, circuit board with all the components around it. This is actually a variable voltage transformer. On my desk at the moment, I have a couple of transformers, as you can see at the back, which give me 5 volt, but sometimes I need 9 volt or 12 volt. So I've bought this kit to build. It has a variable pot which is just here, and as you turn that, there'll be a display here to tell us what the voltage is. I think this goes up to about 3 amps this in total, so it's not a massive amount, but I thought I'd build it as a kit. Got a couple of LEDs on the front here to tell us various things, which we'll have a look at later on. Outputs are here at the side. There's a buzzer for some reason. I think it has some sort of logic in this as well, which I'll have to read up a bit more about. In this bag is the display, the 888 digit display. This is the box that it goes in, which I'll build at the end. It also comes with this mains lead, and as you can see, it's got a Euro plug on it. But to be honest with you, the quality of this cable is shocking. It really is bad. If you've ever seen any of John Ward's videos on Facebook, he goes more into details about them. But this cable I'm not going to use. I'm going to chuck this away and use some decent cable with a European or British standard on it. We've also got this cable here, and we've got a couple of crock clips which is used for our output. Again, I'm not going to use this. I'm probably going to use something like this, which is a bit more substantial for the output, and solder these onto the crock clips that we've got here. So quite a bit of work to do on this one, so I think it's going to be a two-parter. We've got 4 diodes down here for a full bridge rectifier, and we've got a couple more diodes down here. These are the resistors which we need to sort out. So yeah, it's quite interesting. So let's start the build. First thing we'll do is to sort out the resistors. We've got 2 resistors here together, a bit twisted up. We've got 3 resistors, so yeah, I've got 3 resistors at 1k, so I'm going to assume that these are 2 of those 3. So let's untwist them and we can just check that out. You've got it a bit messed up in the bag, I think. There we go. Yep, so that's a 1k. So we know those 2 are together, so they've got to be the same. So let's have a look at this one by itself. That could also be a 1k. Let's just put that to one side for a minute and just test the others. We've got one here. Right, so that looks more like 100. That one, so I've got 100. So I'll put that on the circuit board just so we know that's that one. Let's do the 1k as well. We're here as well, shall we? So, and I've just dropped it on the floor. Come back to you in a minute when I found it on the floor. Right, sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so that's 2 of those, and the third one. Right, so that gives us 2 left. What do we got here then? Oh, so we should have actually another 1K, so there must be a 4th one. So I wonder if it's that one with a bit of tape on it. Let's just try that. I'm not sure about that one. Let's just try the other one, see what that says. $235, and we want a 240, so that must be right then. So 235 goes in the 240. Like that. And the only one we got left is that one there, so that must be the 1K. And there we go. So that's got the resistors done, so let's get them soldered in place. So I've got it on the vise now. So let's get it soldered up into place. That resistor's moved slightly, so let's just heat that up and push that back into place. There we go. That's better. Thought those legs were a bit short. Right, so that's got all those done. We've got two diodes here, and we've got 4 diodes here. Now, the two by themselves, now these little ones here, and they've got a black line at the end, and the black line matches up with a marking on the circuit board. So one goes one way and one goes opposite way. So let's see if we can get that in, and I'll show you. Okay, so if you look at that, you can see that at the end on the left hand side there's a black line, and that lines up with the thicker white line on the circuit board. So the D2, the one on the underneath it, will go the opposite way around. Right, that's got those in. Right, next thing we'll do is a couple of capacitors, I think. We've got some capacitors that are that big and some that are that big. The big ones go at the top of the board there, and the smaller ones go, one goes there and one goes there. Just a reminder, we've got a long lead and a short lead. Long lead is positive, short lead is negative. The negative is also marked with a little shaded area, and the shaded area matches up with the shaded area on the circuit board just there. So let's put those in. So one goes there, and one goes there. And terrific, we've got a solder bridge on both of those. That's a good start, isn't it? Right. Let's get rid of those, alright. A little dab of solder just on that leg there. That's better. Okay, so we've got some LEDs at the bottom here as well. and just next to it there's a B, Y, R and G. So we'll start with the blue. So again, long lead and short lead. Long lead goes to the flat bit of the triangle, which is the positive, and on the reverse side we have a square as well, so we definitely know it's the positive because it matches up with the square. So that's the blue. It's the red. And just so we can double check these things, there we go. And the green goes in. Finally the yellow. So clean the end of the soldering iron. Right, let's got those in. Okay, so what's next then? Right, tell you what, let's take the circuit board out, move it round. Let's tighten it up again, and we get those diodes on the top there. So these are the diodes, and as you can see they have a line on the end, and that line lines up with the thicker white line on the circuit board. And these diodes simply change the AC to DC. Just got those in. Just pull the legs apart slightly. Right, so that's got those in. Okay, so the next thing I think we'll do is the variable resistor. This is what controls the voltage coming out, so we'll put that in. That goes in there. Right, so this is going to be one I'm going to have to hold and solder at the same time. Let's got that in place. Okay, the next thing we're going to install is the digital display that goes here. I've zoomed in so you can see where we've got negative there, positive there, and next to it we've got V in, which is voltage in. Now the display is here. This is the display here, and if we zoom in, here we go, we can see that the right hand side of the display, which is here, is a black cable, so that's the negative, the red's positive, and the white is going to be the voltage in, which is the V in. So that mounts on the circuit board with the digital dots. So we're going to go that way around on the display, on the board. And we've also got in the kit some screws and nuts and these little spacers which will hold the display off the board just there. So let's get that in now then. Right, the plus and minus are quite close together, so just be careful that you don't get a bridge between the two of them. So again, where I've put that voltage in cable, it's quite close to that other track. So let's just double check that cable so it's not touching the tracks. Yeah, that's okay, that's not on there. Yeah, and there's a gap between them two as well, so that's all good. Oh, this is going to be awkward. Right, after dropping them on the floor a couple of times, I finally got that one in. It's still quite loose, but as you can see, the space is underneath there and the nut is on the other side. So let's see if we can get the next one in. Right, okay, so that's screwed into place. I'll tighten them up a bit later on. I could have cut that wire down, but I'll leave it for the time being. Maybe I can cut it down later. Okay, so what's next then? Let's do this transistor that goes in the bottom corner here. So this is it. It's got a bent leg on it. If we look at this, it's got a flat and a rounded side, and that matches up to the flat and rounded side on the circuit board. So let's put that in. There we go. Cool, we're getting there. Okay, next thing we'll do is the two capacitors. Now these are non-marked, whether they're plus or minus, and they're quite small, so be careful with them. But they just go down in the bottom corner here. So one goes there, and the other one goes this side. go. We can just quickly solder those on. Right. Okay, so we've got two big capacitors that go here. We've also got an adjuster that goes in there. So let's have a quick look at that. So that's this little thing here. I'm guessing this is just to fine tune the voltage. So let's put this one in place now. There we go. And there's no need to chop off the legs on those. So that's got that in place. Okay, so let's have a look at these two capacitors here. So just slide the board down a little bit. So these are a bit bigger than those other ones. Just the same though, long lead, short lead. Short lead is marked as negative, and we have a filled in sort of shaded area here. So this is your negative side. So they go in like this. Let me just bend the legs out slightly. There we go. The other one, again, negative side. Goes to the shaded area. Okay, there we go. It's just to solder those up. Okay, so we're getting there. We're not doing too bad at the moment. So next thing we can do is the little LS, little loudspeaker that goes down here. So that is marked with a plus and a minus, and if we look at the label on it, you'll see there's a little plus. So we need to make sure that that lines up to the plus that's on the board. Bend that leg out slightly. There we go. Okay, so what we've got left, IC to do, connections need to do, and the power transistor just here. Next thing we need to do is just to mount the power transistor onto the heatsink here. So the heatsink is quite a light one with the fins on the back, and we fit it like this, so the majority or as much of the back plane rests against this heatsink as possible. So just put that in there like that. In fact, I'll just get my small screwdriver. It's got a magnetic end on it to make things a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm not going to do it super tight at the moment. I'm just going to put it on the circuit board first. Just gives me a little bit of wiggle room just to make sure that everything's lined up, and once it's on the circuit board I can then tighten up the screw. Right, so now we've got this ready, we can pop this on. It's a little bit on the tight side. Okay, so that's neatly on there like that. So let's get the legs soldered up. It's quite tight, so it shouldn't move. I'm just making sure that none of the solder touches, which it doesn't. That's good. Okay, so that's now in place, so now we can tighten up that screw. Like that. And there we go, so that's now in place, which is good. So I think that will just about do us for part one. Join me again part two, where we'll finish off the IC, the connections. We can also then build the box that we've got here, and more importantly plug in the transformer that we've got to do as well. Speak to you soon.